Welcome to the Ntranet Learning Management System, or LMS, webinar. Our learning management system is a great way to schedule and build training for your staff. We will learn how to create a course and a group, then set up a learning plan, and add a course that the group will need. Within the system, there are 3 different types of courses. The classroom course, which would allow you to schedule your training. A policy acceptance course, where you will provide a link to the policy document, as well as a statement for the user to accept that policy. And the third type, an other or online course, which can allow the user to open a video and then take a test. The system will also allow you to schedule training for groups. Let's begin by navigating to our Ntranet example site. And here from the home page, I'll scroll down slightly to the helpful links section, where I can click on a link to my learning management dashboard. Here from the learning management dashboard view, we'll begin with a listing of my required courses. These courses are each set to be required and have not yet been completed. Within this listing, you will see the name of each course, a due date, the status of the course, which may show review, register, take the test, or even a date where you are currently registered, as well as a brief introductory statement, which can include any links to a policy document, as well as to a video. We also can access the My Elective Courses screen, where I can see a listing of any courses that are not required and do not have a due date. These courses have also not yet been completed. The third screen for a user to access is the My Completed Courses screen, and this will list all courses that the user has completed, including the course name, completed date, a grade if it applies, and status of completed. The introductory statement with links will also list here. For those who are listed as a manager, in the manager field of another user, they can utilize the Manage My Team screen. Here, a manager can see access to all users where they are listed as a manager. They can select that user and access their required courses, elective courses, as well as completed courses. From the Required Courses screen, this manager can also register or unregister the user to attend on a specific date or set of dates. Now, let's go ahead and navigate to the administration side by clicking on the admin link in the top site navigation. To save us some time, I've opened up my administration tab already. Notice In administration, we are in our new version 4.8, including responsive administration. Here we can navigate to each module in the left navigation. So let's click on Learning and go to our Learning Management. In our responsive administration, you may notice that some of the icons appear differently, but your navigation through the administration side will work in the same manner. So let's begin on our Users tab. The Users tab in Learning Management or Learning Administration will pull from your user administration. So as I select a user here, you may notice that many of the fields, including the name fields and the fields below, are grayed so that you cannot edit or change these fields from the Learning module. These grayed fields will pull from user administration for information only. So if we want to know a user's department or their manager name, we can see that information here. There are 3 unique fields here from the user profile. These fields are specific to the Learning module. The first is our Self-Register field. This is the field that will allow your user to register themselves for classes. This box will be checked by default. The second unique field is the Register Subordinates checkbox. This box, once checked, will allow the user to register others for classes. The user must be listed as a manager for that other user in demographics, in this manager field here. This second Register Subordinates checkbox will be unchecked by default. Our third unique field is the Learning Comments field. This is an editor field that is specific to the user and can be utilized, for example, to list a training location preference. This field is only visible to those with administration access to the Learning module. Again, the grade fields above are here for informational purposes and will help us as we build our groups. If we make any changes to these 3 unique fields, we need to be sure to click on the Update button below to save those changes. Notice on the top right-hand side, we do have 3 icons available from the Users tab. The first is the Edit User icon, allowing us access to this first screen. The second is the Plans icon. This will show us a listing of all learning plans that the user is currently linked to, as well as any required courses that have not yet been completed, as well as the status, and the elective courses for the user. Notice we can register and unregister a user here from administration as well. Our third icon in the top right corner is our Transcripts icon. This will allow us to see a listing of all completed courses and scores. A course may be manually added with the Add Course button at the top left corner. For example, if we have an off-site conference with credit hours, a supervisor or administrator can add that course for the user. We would select the course, mark exempt or completed. We can check the box to include all incomplete courses. We could include a completion date and a grade, as well as any notes or comments in the editor field. Simply click on Add to add that course to the transcript. Notice for each listed course, we can also see the score, status, completed date, and the ability to edit or add notes or delete that course from the transcript. We will receive a confirm message in order to complete that deletion. Here from the Users tab, we also have an option that is non-user specific. If we remove the user from the drop-down here to the left, we can now see a button allowing us to import transcripts. If we click on the Import Transcripts button, we'll have the opportunity to locate and pull in that transcript file. Please note, the file must be in CSV format with comma-separated fields and no header line. You may use a file formatted in either Excel or Notepad. Details on the Import Transcripts option are available from the help documentation. We will review the help documentation at the end of the presentation. Now let's take a quick poll. This is a true or false question. True or false? An off-site conference can be added to a user transcript manually from the Manage Transcripts screen. Is this true or false? Excellent. That is correct. That statement is true. Now let's navigate to our second tab here for courses. Now the system will allow you to build a course once, and then you can put that course on one or more learning plans. So let's look at how to set up a new course. First, we would input the name of the course in the title field according to what the plan encompasses. Next, we would select the course type from the drop-down below. We'll talk about each of those different course types a little more in a moment. Our next field will allow us to key in the number of hours assigned to the course, and our next field will also allow us to input a cost per user as they apply. These two fields are optional. The active checkbox just to the right is default as checked for a new course. Below, we have our introductory editor box. We will type the information here that will present with the course in the user's dashboard view. Now let's talk about the different types of courses available. A classroom course will allow your user to electronically register to attend. Classroom courses may include a test or an administrator can mark that course complete manually. Our second course type is the Policy Acceptance course. This is a widely used course by our clients. Notice with the Policy Acceptance course, we have two editor fields. Our Introductory Statement field, which should include a link to your policy document. Notice we have internal links and document links available here. That policy document should be in your document library, uploaded through Document Management or the Documents module. The second editor field is your Policy Acceptance Agreement. This is where you will add your statement to appear with the user acceptance. Our third course type is the Other or Online course. With an Other or Online course, a test is required to produce a transcript. It's important to note the main difference between a Policy Acceptance course and an Other or Online course is that your Policy Acceptance course is for a simple acknowledgement. The Other or Online course could be for a more thorough test and can also include link to curriculum from another source, such as BAI. Let's look at an example of each course type. Our classroom course is an example of a classroom course within the system. Once the course is created, new icons will appear at the top of the screen by the course name. Your course will be built on the Manage Course screen. This is where you would select your course type, input or edit your number of hours and cost per user, as well as edit the active checkbox. With this particular course, your hours are set to 2, and the cost is set to $45 to cover materials. This course is currently active. The Introductory Editor box will include a statement presented to the user with the course in their dashboard. Information below will list what learning plans this course is currently associated with. Here we can make changes with the editor field. If any changes are made in any of the fields, including the course name, be sure to click on the Update button to save those changes. Now let's look at the Manage Sections screen. Here, we can build and add or edit dates for the users to attend. This course is currently set up with 5 sections. If your training spans over multiple days, you may add additional days to each section with the blue plus sign in the top right corner of a line for that section. To build a new section, we'll simply click on the Add Course Section button. Notice each existing section may be either edited or deleted. We can also add a comment to present to the user with the date selection window. Next, we'll build a test under the Manage Tests screen. So we'll click on the Manage Tests button. For this particular course, we've created a test. It will name your test as the same name as the course. This can be edited with creating the test or later with your edit icon. Here we can input the number of questions to present to the user, the number of retakes allowed, as well as what a passing score will be. We can mark to randomize your question order as they are presented, as well as type in an introductory statement and a recap statement. If any changes are made, be sure to click on the Submit button to save those changes. Once you've created the test, you can add more questions with the plus sign to the right. We can choose for each question to always ask the question, type in the question itself in the first editor field. We can add help information, including some text to display if the user misses the question or answers incorrectly. With the button below, we can add possible responses or answers to the question. Here we would also designate which is the correct answer with the radio button in the correct column. Answers can be moved around as well as deleted. Simply click on Submit to add the new question. Now, as you build your questions, it's important to note you'll want to create those questions as either multiple choice or true and false. Now let's go ahead and preview the test with the test preview icon to the right. A new window will open showing us the introductory statement. Next, we can see each of the questions. And if we answer a question, we can see text added for help text if answered incorrectly. If we answer the question correctly, we will see a correct statement in the lower right corner. Once all questions have been answered, you will see a status of passed or failed, as well as the ending statement created with the test. Next, let's look at the Manage Enrollment screen. If we click on the Manage Enrollment icon, we can see a list of any users that are currently enrolled in the course. So if I select a date with users registered, I can click on the View Roster button and print a roster to be passed around at each session of the course. Notice for multiple date sessions, each date and user will be listed for each session. This is where we will see, and here we can print the roster with the button below. This is where we can see all who are registered for the course. This is also where an administrator will make the test available for a user after they've attended. So if I click on the available checkbox and save, if I navigate back to my screen, notice I can see my classroom course is now showing the option to take the test. With the icons to the far right, we can also copy a course or delete a course. Now let's look at a policy acceptance course. This is a very common course type. And we actually have two examples here, but we're going to look at the policy acceptance course. Now, with a policy acceptance, if you are using a policy document, that document must be uploaded through the documents module into the library. As we create that policy acceptance course, we would add a link to the document by typing in one or more words, or simply typing in the beginning of a statement and then selecting our internal links and document links. Then we can locate the document, select it, and insert. This will work in the same manner as it does with any editor field throughout your site. Now, once that policy acceptance course is created, new icons will appear at the top right corner of the screen by the course name. The course is built and edited through the Manage Course screen. And this course is listed as no hours or cost per user. The course is currently active. The introductory editor box will include the statement presented to the user with the course. This will include a link to your policy document for review. The second editor field will include text that will appear with the acceptance. And information below will show what learning plans this course is related to or associated with. If any changes are made, to save those changes, click on the Update button or cancel to abort those changes. We can also copy a course or delete the course. Now let's look at an other or online course. Our 2020 Branch Security Policy course is set up as an other or online course. Once that course is created as an other course, new icons will appear at the top of the screen by the course name. Your course is built from the Manage Course screen or the first default screen. Notice this course is set with no hours or cost per user, but the course is currently set to active. The introductory editor box will include any statements presented to the user with the course. This introduction can include a link to a video or another source. Information below will show what learning plans this course is associated with. The next icon will allow us to manage tests for the course. We can build the test when we're creating the course. This course has a test already built out, so let's go ahead and preview this test as well. Again, the introductory statement was presented first, and then our first question we can see if we've answered the question correctly. If we answer a question incorrectly, again, we will see the help statement that was input. This can be specific to your course and test. Lastly, let's look at the Manage Enrollment screen. This screen will reflect any users that have exceeded test retakes. Those with administration access may uncheck the box under Available and then save to make the test available again. Icons to the far right will allow us to either copy the course or delete the course as well. Let's take another quick poll. This is a multiple choice question. Which course type includes an ability to build sections or dates to attend? A classroom course? A policy acceptance course? Or an other or online course? Thank you. That is correct. The classroom course will include an ability to build sections or dates to attend. Now that your courses are ready, let's go ahead and look at the Groups section by clicking on the Groups tab. This is where you'll get to schedule training and assign a course to your users. Now, utilizing groups is not required, but they do help to simplify your learning management, particularly with scheduling. First, we'll build a group and then we'll choose who is a member. Notice there are two different types of groups. A dynamic group, which will be based on demographic information in user administration. This is where making a note of those grade fields on the User tab will come in handy. Those different fields will be title, department, division, and company. The second type is a static group. And a static group will allow you to add individual users with no demographic commonalities. For example, your new hires group. So the new hires group can be created, and those users can be deleted or added at any time. Let's go ahead and set up a dynamic group for a department. So I'll begin with the group's name at the root of the tree selected. I'll type in the name of my new group, and then I'll choose Dynamic Group and Submit. Once we've created the new dynamic group, notice all users within your organization will be added to the dynamic group by default. Within one of the top sections, such as Department, we can select the group we'd like to refine to. Once we've made that selection and clicked on Add, notice our user list is refined below. To exclude a specific user, click on the checkbox to the left and click on the Update Users button below. Notice we will receive a Confirm option. For example, you might exclude your bank president or a member of executive management. This will allow those users to not be presented with the course. Let's take another quick poll. This is a true or false question. True or false? Setting up a group or groups is required in learning management. Is that true? Or is it false? Excellent. That is correct. That is a false statement. All right, for our next step, let's look at the Emails tab. Now, if you're building your learning management and testing your courses, we recommend that you initially uncheck or leave unchecked your Notify Event Recipients checkbox. This way, emails to those users will not go out until you are ready to go live. At that point, you can return to the Emails tab and check those boxes for the events that you'd like to generate an email. Notice when we check the Notify Event Recipients box, our third checkbox to notify Manager of Event Recipients will become ungrayed and available. The manager of an event recipient will be determined by whose name is listed in the Manager field on the user profile. This information was available from the Users tab when we selected an individual user. So, for example, let's look at this course assignment email. Each of those emails for an event is pre-written for you, but you do have the option to edit or make changes in both the email subject line as well as the email body. Included within this information will be some template calls, which may be an unfamiliar language. But these template calls will allow the email to include information specific to the course, date, learning plan, and other information specific to your event. If you make any changes to the checkboxes at the top of the screen, as well as the email subject or body, be sure to click on the Save button to save those changes. Our Center checkbox will allow us to set the system to notify select recipients. Once again, if we check this box, be sure to click on the Save button to save those changes. At that point, we can then pull in one or more individual users from your user listing. We can also add in a non-user email address. So we can type in, say, our HR group email address, as I've done below. Once we click on Add, that group will be added. We can always delete that group as well by checking the box to the left and clicking on the Delete button below. Once again, be sure we check the box to notify select recipients and save with the button in the center to save that checkbox setting if we want those notifications to be generated. Now, we've looked at creating a course and a group. Now let's navigate to our Learning Plans tab and create a learning plan. When our learning plan is created, we'll need to add the users as individuals or user groups, or both, and add the courses. Our learning plan can include a combination of policy procedure courses, instructor-led training, and other courses. From the Add Plans tab, with the plan's name selected at the root of the tree, I can key in my new plan name at the top of the screen and then click on the Submit button below to create the learning plan. Once we've created the plan or selected an existing plan, notice icons will appear to the right of the plan name. The first icon will allow us to manage the plan and make changes to an existing plan name. The Manage Plan Courses screen will allow us to add courses to or remove courses from the plan. I'm going to add a couple of courses here. Let's add our classroom course. Notice the required checkbox to the right will be checked by default. To make this course an elective course, simply uncheck that box. Notice the completion section is now grayed. In the center section, we can add a Do Not Assign Before date or a date on or after, if that applies. It may not be often that you'll utilize this center section. So, for example, a Do Not Assign Before date will not invite users that are previously in the group by inputting a date here. For example, your new hires. The Do Not Assign Date On or After field will not invite users added from that date forward. For example, if that training course has ended on that date. Once we do so, again with a required course, we'll see the completion section, and for a required course, the completion section is required. We cannot add the course without either a completed by date or a date period. So let's go ahead and add the completed by date as 12/31. And let's add a couple of more courses here. And one more, just for good measure. Notice when we've added these courses, we can see the listing of each course with a line for each, including your begin and end timeline, if those apply, completion date, completion number of days, and the ability to edit or delete each. Now let's go to our Manage Plan Users or Manage Plan Groups sections. This is where you will assign your users to the learning plan. Here in the Manage Plan Users screen, I can click on my drop-down and select one or more individual users. Once the user has been added, notice the date added will be listed here. We'll have the ability to delete that user later with the Delete checkbox and the Delete button below. In the Manage Plan Groups screen, I can select a group from the drop-down and add one or more groups. to this learning plan. Our last icon will allow us to delete the plan. Lastly, in administration, let's go to our Reports tab. The reports will be available only to those with admin access to the Learning module. Notice there are 3 different reports that we've pre-built for you, but you will have the ability to design a new or custom report by naming the report, adding those fields you feel are important, and then even adding some filtering. Once you've created that report, you can preview the report. I'd like to look at our learning plan report for just a moment. When I click on the learning plan report, I can select a learning plan from the top drop-down. Notice the second drop-down will allow us to either show active users or select specific users. I'm going to show active users. For each of these pre-built reports, we will show a listing of each of the fields to be shown. If one or more of those fields is of higher importance, we can manually edit where those fields will appear in the report. Notice we can even add filtering to the report as well. Once I click on Run Report, a new tab will open with the full report. This will list each of the users, as well as managers. It will also list email addresses and each of those fields that we saw from the previous screen. For each user that has multiple courses, they will be listed more than one time. This report can be exported to either Excel or CSV format with the buttons above. Let's go ahead and close this tab. And I'd like to return back to my user view for just a moment and review the dashboard. Now, when you begin utilizing your learning management system, we can assist in adding the dashboard link to your home page. From the dashboard view, we can see my required courses by default. This will include any required courses that have not yet been completed. We can also access my elective courses, which are courses assigned but not yet completed. These are elective, so they will not have a due date, as well as my completed courses. From the My Required Courses screen, I can take a test for my other or online course. Again, notice it will tell us when we've responded correctly or not. We will see the message telling us if we passed, what that score was, and any statement that was input with the test. This course will now show under my completed courses here. I can also register for a classroom course, such as my Regulation E. And for a policy acceptance course, I can click on my review statement or review link and click on Accept to complete that course. Now, our help documentation is a valuable resource and available to everyone with administration access. Simply go to your administration screen and click on the question mark in the top right corner. A new tab will open with your BankWorks user guide. Here you can see from the table of contents, we have a listing of each of the modules available. Within each module section, we'll have detailed instructions, including those import transcripts instructions that I mentioned earlier. Some may include images as well as step-by-step instructions. If you have further questions, please feel free to contact our support team. We are here to assist you.